Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I've spent the last 2+ decades of my life. Just continue on the story from the last video. We're on congressional lockdown, and our movement is restricted. But after a few months, we were able to start moving around, get a little wreck here, get a little wreck there. And then the administration came up with a bright idea that they were going to replace all of our lockers. The lockers are all metal, but the lockers has been in there since I got there. A lot of them's cut up. People's cut them up to make knives out of them. Everything that can be taken off the wall, every wire that can be stripped, they're cut up. So really, the prison is a mess. So they had this bright idea to bring in all these new lockers, the ones they painted big ass orange. And on these lockers, the metal on them are a lot thicker. So if somebody were to try to cut them up, it'd be a lot, longer process. But to do that, they had to move us out of the unit. They would clear out one unit and then come fix the locker and bring us back. But while they moved us out to this other unit, I think it was CB or something like that. They moved us to CB. And at this time, we were able to start integrating back into regular routine. Like I said, when you come off of a lockdown, you get an hour out here, you get 2 hours out here, you might be out for half a day, and so on and so forth, until you start to get back to your normal programming. Well, there's this dude in my unit. His name is Black. But, a lot of black dudes in there, they call themselves Black, right? But this dude, when you look at him, he looks ashy. Like, he's got dreads. He minds his own business. Sometimes he sits there and talks to himself. Like, the few interaction that I had with him was always cordial. I'd be like, hey, what's up, Black? And he's like, hey, what's up, Mesa? Before he, starts talking to himself again. You know what I mean? A few times he came and asked me for a shot of coffee. I hooked him up. Like, we're not friends or anything. We don't kick or anything. He lived a few cells down from me. And every morning when I come out, I see him posted on the wall with his chair, watching TV, minding his own business, But he was a little off. But to us, that's normal, because everybody in the penitentiary is off to a certain degree. But he was just a little bit extra because, like I said, he would sit there and talk to himself, But he was respectful. He never, the whole time I was there, I've never seen him disrespect anybody. But, having somebody, when you see somebody like that, kind of talk to himself, kind of mind their own business, some people take that as maybe they're weak or maybe they're lame. And on 2 different occasions, these dudes found out that they weren't the case. They had this one dude, I think they call him Mike. He's out of the Midwest. He's a Crip, but he wasn't running Crip. He was running Midwest. But, but every time he shook my hand or anybody else's hand, he would do the little C, shake your hand and throw up the C. When they do it to me, I just grab their hand because I'm like, you're not running under a Crip car, so don't toss the C up to me. But if the homies are Crip, and when they shake my hand, they throw up the C, I throw it back, out of respect for them. You know what I mean? I'm not a Crip or anything like that. I'm not a Blood or anything, but I got homies and friends that I'm close with that are all from these different prospective gangs. And But when I run into dudes that are not on count, on count meaning that you're on count with this gang, that they can account for you as part of their car. But like I said again, like to each his own. I'm not here to judge people, what car they run with, how they run, how they do their time. I'm just giving it to you from my perspective. If you're not claiming Crip no more, don't be throwing up the C. That's just the way I see it. So when I run into dudes that, are running Texas or running Midwest or running whatever city they're running from, but then are still trying to be Crips or Blood, I just look at them different. And so does the rest of the people. That's just the way it is, So on this particular day, I think I mentioned it before, but I'm taking you from this story to another one. I'm just giving you a little background on the homie Black. Well, he's not my homie or anything, but, dude that was in the block. And, I'm watching TV. And I hear, like a pop, 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 pop. I turn around and Black is on Mike. I don't know what Mike did to him. Mike had his headphones on, but like I said, again, you got dudes that, like, I don't know how to, like, put it into words. Just, they're not gangbanging, but they act like they are. They have the demeanor, they have the walk, they have the lingo, they have the swag. And, like, to me, I just think it's funny, So, anyway, with Black, like I said, he minds his own business. He doesn't fuck with nobody. He just posts up on the wall, watches his TV. He doesn't use the phone. He sells his phone to somebody. Like, look at, thinking back, there's a lot of dudes like that when they come into the penitentiary, they're cut off from the world. He doesn't have any money. He never goes to commissary. He doesn't use the phone. Yeah, I don't know, anything about his personal situation, but he's not getting letters. He's not writing anybody. These things that I mentioned are things that I'm able to observe because we go to commissary every week and he never goes. We go, we use the phone every day and he sells his phone to somebody else. We have emails that we use. I'm on the email all the time, emailing my family and my homies and stuff, and he's never using it. So, just observing the situation, it comes across that he has nobody, that he's either cut the world off or the world's cut him off. But at the end of the day, he has nothing and nobody. So he makes his little hustle by selling his phone. The going rate for the phone is like $20, $30 for your month's phone. So he gets that. And then he can sell his commissary too, as far as like having people send money on his books and they go shopping in his name or whatever. Like he'll have to go up there and turn in his form and stuff and bring back the commissary. When he comes back from commissary, he's passing it off to whoever sent money on his book. But, there's a lot of people like that don't have anybody, that doesn't call home. Through the course of my bid, I've always bought 2 or 3 other people's account, like phones, because they're not using it. They're not calling home to their family. They're not communicating with the world. And I mentioned in these stories that I share with you that, part of the process to help me deal with the time was cutting the world off. Because, you call home and you hear about, problems that your family's going through and you realize you can't do anything. And then, it's frustrating. And then, or if you call home and they're at a party celebrating a birthday or Christmas, even that is frustrating because that makes you homesick. you know, that you're not able to be there in the holidays and stuff. And that's, you know, that's another video. But continuing on with Black, sorry I got distracted. But you know, like I said, like when I share these stories with you guys, like sometimes it feels like I'm reliving those moments and those memories. And you know, I feel like sometimes I don't have control over my emotions or how my body reacts to certain memories. So going back to Black, you know, like I say, he minds his business. He's, you know, he just sits there and talks to himself a lot, all the time. And sometimes, you know, I mean, you can't help it but observe and watch. Sometimes he gets real animated with whoever, whatever he's talking to, you know. But like again, I don't know what Mike did to him, but he just got up and just started piecing up Mike. Pop, 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 pop. If Mike got his headphone, he's knocked out, but he's on his feet. Like, he's just stunned on his feet, like, just holding on to the wall while Black is piecing him up. Bing, 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 bing. And then, you know, all his homies come over there, wherever they're from, and they like, hey, because, you know, they're all Black. And they come over there and stop it, pull Black off, and was like, hey, man. And, you know, the COs didn't catch it. But the COs, like, heard the commotion, and they came out, and they're like, what's going on? And, you know, to the credit, like, the Black dudes that had the, you know, the unit for them, they're like, nah, man, it's good. It's just, he just dropped something or whatever, and they got away with it. You know, they just sent Black to his cell, let Mike go in his cell and clean himself up or whatever. And, you know, the next day, you know, Mike wanted to get his get back, so they arranged a one-on-one to go into the cell. And they went to the cell and fought. You know, you can hear the little commotions that's going on in the cell or whatever. You know, I'm a ways from it. I'm not at the door looking in or anything. I just hear a little bit of the noise. And the door opens and Mike comes out of there, you know, with his chest out like he won the fight, right? So I'm like, okay. Then I see Black come out of the cell, and, you know, Mike acting like he won the fight, and maybe he did, but I'm looking at Black. I don't see no bruise. I don't see no blood. I'm like, what the hell did you guys do? Just like sit there and hug each other until somebody tapped out, right? But, you know, Mike felt like he saved his face, and, you know, it's whatever. Like, you know, I said, like, the standards that were implemented now before I left, it was a lot different from what I grew up in. And, you know, like, he got saved already, you know, like I don't know. But anyway, but the story's on Black. I don't want to go into people's characters or my opinions of them or whatnot. But, so on this particular day, I'm at medical, you know, going through, because, you know, they give you a TB test every year. And this is around, and I get mine around March and April, around my birthday. You know, to test you for tuberculosis or whatever. You got to go there. They stick a needle in your arm and it bubbles up. Then you got to come back a few days later. If it's flat, you're clear. You know, I've always passed my TB test, whatever. So I'm in medical TB test and the deuces go off. Like, the deuces is the emergency button that the COs hit to notify other staff member that there's an incident going on. So the deuces go off, they run out or whatever, and about 15, 20 minutes later, you know, got two COs comes into medical. You know, he's coming in there with a couple other COs, but this CO is a Black dude, like light-skinned Black dude. And he's got his forehead, you know, got a lump on his forehead and bruise on his eye, right? And I know he got beat up. You know, somebody beat him up, right? I'm like, damn, now we're gonna get on lockdown. And sure enough, they call for all of us to get locked down. And we all get called back to a unit, get put back in our cell, and we get locked down. We get locked down for a few weeks, and when we come back out, we found out that it was Black that beat him up. You know, he went into the CO's office and asked that CO for some toilet paper. And, you know, that CO that, you know, my interaction with him, he's a big old Black dude, you know, light-skinned dude, but he's like 6'3", 6'4". Like, to me, that's big, because, you know, I'm only like 5'6", right? But he was a little arrogant, and sometimes he talks crazy to people. But he picks and chooses who he talks crazy to. Like, if he knows that you're, you know, a gang member, you know, if you're one of the TS dudes or the MA dude or the Crip dude or whatever, he's respectful. But if he knows that you're not affiliated or he thinks you're lame, he's arrogant and disrespectful. Like, to me, those men are cowards. If you're going to be tough, homie, be tough to everybody and anybody. You know? Don't pick and choose because, you know, you're afraid of this dude, but you're not afraid of this guy. You know, that's like these fucking bullies. If you're really about it, you go pick on the big dude. Don't go try looking at the little dude, you know. So, but he don't know Black. Black got a history. Black don't give a fuck. Black got all day. I don't have no idea how much time he was doing, but he was doing decades, you know, from, you know, the little conversations that I've had with other people, whatever, and he's not calling home. He has no family that he communicates with that I know of. I mean, I'm sure he has family on the street, but he's not communicating with them, neither through letters, phone books, or email. You know, he went in there and just asked the dude for some toilet paper, and the dude's like, you know, kind of brushed him off, disrespected him, like, hey, get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't got time for that shit. Something to that effect. Black came back in and said, hey, man, cause you know, there was a dude that was by the door that was trying to get a cop out when Black came back. So Black comes back in and it's like, hey, man, can I ask you something? And the CO was like, man, didn't I tell you already? And Black just took off on him. Bink, bink, bink. And Black's small. Black, I mean, he's a little bit taller than me, but he's skinny. And he pieced that bitch-ass CO up, you know? But they fucked him up. They roughed him up, fucked him up, you know, jumped on him and did all the rest, all the coward shit that they do. But just to show you that, you know, there's people in there that has lost hope, that has cut the world off. And even though they mind their business for the most part, they're dangerous because they don't care anymore. And if you don't recognize those individuals, then you might get yourself caught up in a situation. And these COs, for some reason, they have a hard time understanding that. Understanding that they work in an environment full of condemned men. Men that are doing decades, men that are never coming home. But because of their uniform, because of their job title, and because they're protected by the federal government, they want to be somebody they're not, you know? I tell these dudes, these CEOs, like, your courage, your heart is on loan by the federal government. You have to check it in when you go home, because on the street, you're a little bitch. But when you come here, you act like you're tough because you know that if somebody puts their hands on you, you're going to be in the courtroom pointing the finger on the stand, talking about, I was just doing my job. And it's a shame that these people get to a state that they feel like the rest of us is lesser than them. But then, you know, time and time again, these same individuals that think this way, they find themselves in a bad predicament. There's been plenty of CEOs that's been butchered in the penitentiary. Plenty more has been beat up. And yet, with each new group of COs that come, new group of rookie. A handful of them continue to make the same mistakes. When you walk into the penitentiary, a CO, when they come in, before they come into work, in the lobby, on the wall, is pictures of all the dead COs. And some of them choose not to recognize that and realize where they're at. And for them, hey, good luck to you. Welcome to the USP.